Here's a fly ball out towards center field. This one's going back, and this one is gone! Taylor gets this one out towards center field to the short porch, and it's a grand slam! That's a floater, out to short. And it's booted off the shortstop's glove! Just like they drew it from Hollywood. Caladros, the 3-2. Swing and a miss! And the Audubon Green Wave have upset the Kingsway Dragons! Grant Fournier, two-run shot to right.
From the virtual banks of southern Delaware, welcome to Dan Wilkins Broadcasting coverage of BPNR, race number 6 of 17 on the campaign, as we bring you action from Delaware. Again, it is Dan Wilkins. Zach Armstrong is joining me on the call this evening. Thomas Troxel also an accompaniment in the booth, as we've got ourselves some fantastic Tuesday night racing here in, of course, the BPNR. I attended Dover Motor Speedway back in July, but now I get the honor of attending it more virtually, but also a little bit more candidly, if you will, here in the 2025 season of BPNR. Again, I am Dan Wilkins, joined by Zach Armstrong on the call this evening. Zach, this is going to be an interesting race, especially for the top two in BPNR points right now. You know, the two names that keep coming up to mind for everyone involved is going to be Dunn LaPratt and Alexander Gonzalez-Green, who are 28 points separated from each other. But at the same time, there is a frisky battle in third, fourth, and fifth, with Jolene Sims, Steven Gibson, and Daniel Rodriguez being 1 point separated from each other.
Yeah, and one thing to note, Dunn has obviously been one of the more consistent drivers. His gap in that points lead, you know, obviously Alexander Gonzalez-Green, only 28 back. He's not showing up tonight, so he's going to have to be relying on a Provo to kind of keep himself in the fight there as we get closer to the end of the regular season. But right now, Dunn has been on top of his game. He's been consistent, and that's been the biggest thing that leads him to success so far.
Well, yeah, when you look at the schedule right now for this season 7, there's only we're right now about the halfway point of the regular season. After tonight, you've got Riki Raceway, a super speedway over in Toronto, and then Lime Rock Park and DuQuoin, and then you've got Charlotte Motor Speedway leading up to the All-Star race. And then after that, just 2 more races, Sonoma and Homestead, Miami, before the chase for the Cup. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these teams manage going into the final leg of the regular season. The fun games are over. You know, now it's time for gritty, hard-nosed work, and we're going to see what everybody's able to do. Zach, you've got an early favorite to win tonight?
You know, with this track being the way it is, the lap times are close. I don't think passing is going to be very easy. I think someone who's up front is probably going to win it. I'm probably going to go with Kirsten Bell.
I like that pick. I think I'm going to go with a little bit of a safer choice. I'm going to say Jolene Sims, the pole sitter for tonight's race. Again, as you said, the tires are going to be an issue. It's going to be a little bit harder to pass, which might actually be good for some people if they're up front, especially if they had a good qualifying lap. That means that they can stay there. That means that they can keep continuing in that direction and keep everything moving. So I don't think that it'll be a bad race by any means, but it's going to be a race that comes down to strategy and how many sets of tires do you have. We're going to take a very brief break as we flip this board back over and get ready for 100 laps.
Drivers to your
Back here from Dover Motor Speedway, a quick preview of the starting lineup before we go green. It's Jolene Sims in the front row, Dunn LaPrade in the second position,
Drivers,
Anthony McCrory
start
in
your
second, Christian
engines.
Bell in third, and then in row 3, 4, and 5, it's Tala Aziz, Riley Trowick. Row 4 is Daniel Rodriguez and Victor Delgado in the third, and then in row 5, Daniel Rivera and William Viola. So we'll find our way through the field, and Jolene Sims over at Dover Motor Speedway will try to make their name known. The pace car is in with the leaders following behind them. The points leader, Dunn LaPrade, in front. And from Southern Delaware, we've got a green flag in the first State of the Union. Sims with that early lead, with LaPrade making a move on the inside. We talked about passing, how that's going to be at a premium tonight. Sims sliding into the middle groove. And lap 1 sees Sims, the leader. Oh, in trouble up front. It is going to be, or rather in the back, it's the 32 of Mahendra who takes a slide.
The 54 also of Anthony McClure really slowed down in turn 4. It looks like he had a spin of his own.
Got another car around in the back. It's Carl Childress.
A couple of cars going around, but still a green flag paces.
Oh, and the 32 and 54 need to get out.
Wow, they are really close from getting tagged here. Mahendra and McClure both avoiding disaster. But we still stay green even with the billows of smoke in all corners. Some cars pacing the apron down here. But Sims in front, LaPrade in second, and then McCrory in third in the 83. And a car running on the top side, Carl Childress into 27th position. Again, some cars spinning out on the early laps, already getting a disadvantage here from Dover.
A huge wreck in turn 2, the 20, the 90.
Oh, yeah, got a whole bunch of cars around.
Piled up.
Bowen Fisher. That's Mathis Wells, Daniel Rivera, and William Viola. Assuming the yellow is out.
But yeah, the caution is out.
Caution has come out. Hard to tell with not having the pace car out, but I apologize. These people run on manual cautions for those unfamiliar with the esports jargon. As Jolene Sims in the lead on lap 5. We'll have to take a gander at that replay real quick when we get a second, but right now, Sims, LaPrade, McCrory, and then Bell, Aziz, and Delgado top 6th and 7, 8, 9, and 10. Rodriguez, Bishop, Mullen, who was originally supposed to be our color commentator for tonight, but kudos to him. He made the race, qualified 21st, and now finds himself in 9th, and then Dylan Negron in 10th. Handful of cars coming in. Otherwise, though, we'll be right back. Lap 5 of 100. Quick break here on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. In life, the road ahead is full of possibilities, but to navigate it safely, you need the right skills. Harper Driving School is the premier driving school serving Gloucester, Salem, and Camden counties. With experienced instructors, many of whom are teachers in local schools, we are dedicated to your success and will help you master the road with confidence. With an over 95% success rate of students passing their road test on their first try, you know your student will be in good hands while embarking on a huge step of their young adult lives, all while avoiding the lines at the DMV and getting insurance discounts.
We chose Harper, and so should you.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It is the responsibility of all of us to make sure that our friends, family, and anybody who we hold dear in our lives is feeling well.
The problem with spotting mental health issues is that the symptoms aren't that obvious. Just because someone is okay or appears okay outside doesn't mean that they're okay on the inside.
It's important that if they are in distress, that they call the right people and they get the
Back here from Dover Motor Speedway, let's take a gander at that replay that ended up bringing out our first caution of the night. We'll start out here on lap 4 of 100 with William Viola running in the 8th position. We'll take a quick helicopter look here as he sends himself around. Daniel Rivera makes contact with him, but then he slows up enough. Jelani Howell gives Rivera a bump.
Can wave around now.
There is Viola getting involved. And you can see Rivera goes for a slide on his own in turn 2. There's a good still shot right there. And then where else does this go wrong? There you go right there. That's Mathis Wells who gets hit. And then kind of as collateral, Bowen Fisher gets tagged as well. Both cars go around, but honestly, neither have lasting damage. It just felt like Rivera was a part of the collateral that got Viola around, and then Wells and Fisher kind of got around almost reactively to that crash. So Bowen Fisher back in the 19th position. Rivera will get bumped down to 21st, Wells in 22nd, and then Viola in 23rd. Landon Lyle rounding out the field in 24th position, and again, the leader being Jolene Sims here on lap 8 of 100 tonight. Here from Dover. Kind of a good way to start out the night. Didn't have too bad of a run there. Lasted 5 laps, 4.5 laps, and now they'll get a chance to re-up them again. Again, I'm Dan Wilkins, joined by Zachariah Armstrong and Thomas Troxel in the booth from Dover Motor Speedway.
I think on this next restart, you know, they've had that initial start with the cold tires in mind. I think some of these guys at least have a bit better game plan, or at least I'd hope have a bit better game plan for this next start.
Yeah, I think, you know, now that this first run is done, I think that the big focus is going to shift now to that long run. We're going to see what is. There's going to be one to go, as you heard from Tower. But with Sims up front, listen, Sims got the pole. They're going to be our in-race reporter later today if another yellow comes out. But you've got a solid top 5 here with Sims, McCrory, LaPrade, Bell, and Rodriguez. I think that these 5 are going to be the 5 names to watch for the rest of the night. I don't know if somebody's going to be able to charge from the back and find their way up front, but if they do, all the more power to them. We've got 9 laps out of 100 down from one of 3 counties in Delaware. We are here in Newcastle County, in the first state that the United States ever produced. This track opened in the late 1960s, first hosted NASCAR in the early 80s, and it's a 1-mile, unforgiving concrete oval with a permanent capacity of over 48,000 people. And all 48,000 back on their feet. We're green from Dover for a second time. Sims still out front, diving to the bottom for P3, Kirsten Bell. Trying to find any kind of leverage here in the early going. McCrory able to hold position. It's taken on board with the 29 of Bell. Again, top 5 still holding steady. 42 of RJ Bishop on the inside of Rodriguez, and I think this is going to be the main problem going forward in this race, is that consistent passing. Are you going to be able to find a consistent lane that's going to be able to play? Will this top 5 just one single move until somebody gets antsy and wants to make a move? We do have a pass for 6th place, Alex Mullen going to the inside of Bishop. Again, he started outside of the top 20 and now finds himself in prime position as he's going to try to take 2 birds with 1 stone, holding on that inside line, unable to make the pass on either Rodriguez or Bishop. He's still holding steady in the 1, and he slides into the middle groove there, trying to make the play.
Yeah, these guys are getting a little antsy so far, but it looks like they're going to try to calm down here pretty soon. We've had a couple of self-spins, the 8 car and the 54, way back in the back, but nothing has came of that as they're starting to single file out right now. We did have a huge stack up on the restart that gave some ground to the 92 of Joshua Clements, who has been coming from the back during this race, but so far so good on this start as Mullins looking to the inside of Bishop for 5th right there.
Bishop in turn with Mullins' move going to the inside of Rodriguez for P6. And again, Sims having led every lap under green and yellow, mostly single file rides with Mullen
the
going
54
way
is gonna
high
get
up,
into the top
and
turn,
we've
too.
got trouble. McClure is around, and Mullen is going to hit right into him. Is this going to be enough to bring out a caution is the question. Mullen, who was running in 7th place, is going to have to go to the rear of the field. And they're going to say that no yellow. They're going to say he's okay, as McClure spun at the most inopportune time possible, right in front of the leaders, was able to get out of the way unless, here's the thing though, Alex Mullen was running in the wrong lane at the wrong time. He was running way up near the outside wall and then ended up finding the wrong target in McClure.
60 gets in the wall. They're battling for the 9th position with Jelani Howe, but he's going to get that drive off the top side. Try to pull this 19 off of turn 2 there. 19 sticking side by side with him. That's really about the only battle we've got going on inside the top 10 right now. A little dicey there for around 6th place with Negron and the 42 RJ Bishop, but besides that, most of the battling is happening behind the top 10 as the 93 nearly just put the 15 in the wall there off the exit 4.
Yeah, you can see Jelani Howell running up there in that position. It's been a good year for him, at least in a lot of different capacities in a lot of different leagues. And we talk about Jolene Sims needing this points day for her to go very well. She's 3rd in points right now. And actually, while we're at it, let's take a look at the points right now presented by Gray Fox Sports. This is going to be a good season for BPNR. And as you see, Alexander Gonzalez-Green in 2nd place, having to rely on a provisional tonight. And then 3rd, 4th, and 5th, all within 1 point of each other. I mean, that's just fantastic. Jolene Sims, Stephen Gibson, and the rest of them down there. And then Dunlap Pratt, of course, is going to look to keep the 06, right in his sight, because he's in the lead right now with 28 points, and any gain that he can get on AGG is going to be a good gain for him. And if he can keep up front tonight, that's going to be a good move for the 74 in his pursuit of the Season 7 championship here in BPNR.
Yeah, the 74 really just looking for a clean points day, especially with his main championship rival in the 11 of Alexander Gonzalez-Green out of this race. I believe he's taking a provisional, so he'll get those 10 points there for taking that provisional, but he'll still lose a lot on Dunlop Pratt, who's having a really good day for the second. Really is having a good we're just going to have to see I guess he was just trying to get out of the way of the leaders there.
Yeah, he's already several laps down, Childress. Sims still in front, holding about 3 car lengths on LaPrade. McCrory in 3rd. And after that, you've got Bell in 4th, Rodriguez 5th, and look at this, nearly 3 wide for the position. Falling back, though, in that pursuit is the 92 of Clements in 8th. There is a little bit of passing, it's just not sustained. It's something that you have to find the right time and the right place to do. Because if you don't, then you're going to find yourself in trouble. And just like we say for the jargon on the super speedway races, you're going to be hung out for a while.
Yeah, especially with the tire wear that's probably kicking in now for these guys. About 5 laps. Down to pit during that first caution that I see up here in the top 10 is the 60 Atlanta Wadenbach. But the tire wear really not affecting any of these guys. I mean, the tire difference isn't that huge, but Clements, a superb, just a superb tire saver, is starting to make up ground for these guys that are maybe pushing their tires a little too hard, as he's now made his way into 5th.
Yeah, just a few laps ago, he was in the 8th position.
Car around off 4, it's the 02 of Roman Gonzalez.
The yellow is out for the 2nd time here at Dover. Aforementioned for, you said, the 02 Dodge Challenger of Roman Gonzalez. And just a quarter of the way through the action at Dover. Again, 2nd time under caution this evening.
Closed right here.
Let's take a look just for a second. We'll do things the old-fashioned way. We don't have to hide behind any tricks here. This is a video game. We'll just rewind it. Joe Toe, our good friend Jonathan Salos, they all do this all the time. We can't find the Can't find the $40,000 for a TriCaster on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. But either way, let's take a quick look at this replay, again, presented by Harper Driving School. As let's take a look at the helicopter cam. You've got Jelani Howell and Seth Cole battling for the 14th position. Cole gives Howell a bumper. This will be his second incident involved in today. And look who's right behind him. It's Daniel Rivera. So with Howell getting sent up the track, look who's got nowhere to go. It's Roman Gonzalez, clips him with his right front fender, and then Gonzalez goes down, makes contact with William Viola, who can't catch a break tonight. And then, you know, the accordion effect goes from there. Roman Gonzalez gets hit and gets some damage to that number 02 Dodge Challenger as, again, second caution of the day. But you know what? If there's any positives coming from these two yellows so far, is that they haven't really caused any permanent or race-ending damage to these drivers so far, although we do have 4 DNFs. The 20 of Mathis Wells, the 54 of Anthony McClure, the 5, and then the 72 as well, all have retired from the race. Cars are on pit road on lap 27 of 100. Let's take a look at what they're taking care of here with their Goodyear tires and Sunoco fuel. With your top 4 up front here at the front end of pit lane, closest to turn 1.
48, you won't need to wave around just manually at
Here
the
is Sims.
but you will have to pit.
Oh, the
you know,
60
Laudenbach, look at
two
Landon
tires.
Laudenbach. I think he took 2 tires. He's going to lead off of pit road.
Yeah, I believe the 60 and the 69 car of Robbie Gilvin both took 2 tires on that stop. Gilvin
Pits
gained a
are-
ton of track position on pit road. Jolene's going to fall back to second. We're going to have to see how they can handle the dirty air behind Landon Laudenbach on those other left side tires. But
Well, we're
very
going to have
interesting.
our first lead change of the night with Laudenbach getting in front there, the native of Minnesota. As again, your top 5 after the pit cycle didn't really change too much outside of Laudenbach firing his way from 9th place all the way to 1st. It's going to be Laudenbach, Sims, McCrory, who has been a perennial bronze medalist all day, LaPrade, and Clements in your top 5. You're watching coverage of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting as our drone got a little bit out of control there from Dover Motor Speedway. This broadcast is brought to you by RCSJ Gloucester. Class has just started today, but it's not too late to register as a student at the top community college in all of New Jersey and a top 10 community college voted on in the Northeast region. You can become a student at rcsj.edu, and for athletes, you can become a prospective road runner at rcsj.edu. This broadcast is also brought to you by the Dangerous Adrenaline Wrestling Gladiators, or
All
Dog
right,
Pro
8
Wrestling.
wave around to get your lap.
They just held a
everyone
fantastic
else
Saturday
facing
SmackDown
say
event at
hi
Rowan
while he
University.
waves
If your
around.
charitable organization, club, or civic will like to join Dog Pro Wrestling and get some flair to your next event, visit DAWG Pro Wrestling for more information. So everybody crossing the stripe. Looks like, I believe we're going to get the 1 to go this time.
yeah, it looks like Childress is back on the lead lap. So every single car that is still running in this race is on the lead lap right now.
And that would be 26 with Childress being in last. Again, McClure being the first DNF with a gearbox problem cited.
We're going green this time.
Almost a third of the way through.
You know what I'm surprised we haven't seen so far? The big one. I imagine it's coming at some point soon, but I'm just surprised we haven't seen
All right,
such a
quiet
huge wreck
zone.
so far that's taken the multiple cars out of the race.
Well, the infamous saying with Dover is that it is a self-cleaning track, so that if you wreck up top, you're going to find your way to the bottom eventually. And you know, everybody doesn't like to be on the bottom at Dover or anywhere, but here it's a little bit different. We've got a whole bunch of grooves running tonight as we are back green.
Oh, the 60!
Oh, and Laudenbach
Into the wall.
is into the inside wall on the restart. Not a
Oh,
good
and then he
start.
takes out the 17.
Oh my
God.
goodness.
What a huge crash.
Wow, massive wreck here in turn 1 and 2.
Great looking Lyle. Oh my goodness, that was a
Trolloc,
huge wreck.
Laudenbach, Bishop, and everybody is involved. Well, not everybody, but a good chunk of this place is involved, and the caution is out, obviously, for the third time today.
We were just talking about that big one that hasn't happened yet.
You spoke it straight into existence.
right on the money, Thomas. Wow.
I believe they're saying over the tower right now that the 60's controller disconnected, and he just straight lined it to the 17 and the 99. That is so unfortunate. That's going to definitely end the day of Landon Lyle. The 17 looks to have gotten away pretty unscathed, considering they just took a ride on the wall. But
yeah, that might be a career ender for Landon Lyle.
That was huge, Rick.
Oh my goodness, we're gonna have to hear that explanation.
He got hooked in the fence.
We're gonna have to look at this real quick. Here's your DWB replay again, presented by Harper Driving School.
Everyone's lead left, so they're open for everyone.
Oh my gosh, that was a huge
I
wreck.
cannot believe what I just saw. I mean, that might be one of the most vicious wrecks since Joey Logano in 2008 at this very same track, albeit in the opposite corner. But let's rewind the tape and see what happened here. I mean, honestly, that is the only possible explanation. When you're restarting single file, I don't see, I mean, he just dives straight left, and so unfortunate for Laudmack because this was his first laps led this race, taking 2 tires on the pit stop, and then you can see he hits the inside wall, and then his line goes straight. He clips Trowick, clips Lyle, he goes straight into the fence, and then there goes Landon Lyle, that up and over, hitting on the inside of the roof. Trowick getting some airtime. Seth Cole involved, Alexander Hunt, Carl Childress, and RJ Bishop all involved. Let's take that look one more time from, this time, the viewpoint of Landon Lyle. Just some fantastic airtime, and then gets clobbered again and again. He's on pit lane receiving repairs to that weathered race car, to say the least, and almost by a stroke of fate, Jolene Sims is back in the lead on lap 34.
Yeah, very lucky that 60 did not decide to have their controller disconnect entering turn 1, because that probably would have collected a lot more cars. And the fact that he spun his tires too on that restart probably saved the entire top 10 from being involved in that accident.
Yeah, kind of a lucky blessing for Jolene Sims. Obviously, you don't want to see. Oh, well, we're going to go green this time. Quick restart here, but again, with Sims, it obviously sucks that those cars got taken out. But for your own personal gain, can't be too mad at it, because these guys right now are, again, in this kind of situation, when you already have a win this year, you are thinking of individuality at all costs. You want to win, and obviously you want to see your teammates win, but when you have a 1-point lead on Steven Gibson and the rest of your competitors, when a bad showing could knock you down from 3rd place all the way to 6th or lower, you do not want to have a bad day.
Control.
Hear from your drone shot here in Dover Motor Speedway. We are green, lap 35.
That was a lot of tire spin from the 83 in McCurry. He checked up the entire lane. That's going to give way to the 65 of D-Dog, Daniel Rodriguez.
There you go.
Setting in the 2nd place right now, as well as the 29 of Kirsten Bell entering that 3rd spot. That was a really terrible
Oh,
restart
Bell
for
got
74.
loose. He had some tire skids at the exit of turn 4. Comes out unscathed, but lost a little bit of time there, and now yields to the 60 on Robbie Gilvin. More trouble. Oh dear, we've got a whole bunch of cars coming in. It's Riley Trowick, Elaine Johnson around. Yellow flag is back out.
Bowen Fisher also involved in that. I think it was between those two, the 55 and the 93. The 55 took a huge tumble into turn 1.
I mean, that's the 3rd wreck we've had in a row. It's our 4th yellow.
And it's our 2nd flip of the night.
I mean, I'm curious who knows how to drive out there right now. This is a situation where it's happening again and again and again. Lane Johnson getting back going. We'll rewind the tape one more time for the 55 and see how this
15,
transpired.
You have a EOL for that crash.
See what happened here. Just looking at our radar or our helicopter view. So what I'm mostly looking at here as we start, Johnson restarting 10th, and again gets one lap of good stuff, and then Daniel Rivera comes in, makes contact on the left rear quarter panel of Johnson. That's the third time that Rivera's been involved in an incident. Who's out that comes in behind him? That's Bowen Fisher makes contact. A lot of net code there, and that's most likely what sends Johnson over. That wouldn't happen with a real car. Viola narrowly escapes it. Mullen barely escapes it, but who doesn't? Riley Trowick and R.J. Bishop, who Bishop, after having a top 6 performance in the early going, now finds himself in more limbo, more purgatory. He was in 20th when this happened. Trowick, sliding to avoid the accident, crashes right into Bowen Fisher, and Bishop gets a piece of it as well. Landon Lyle, who had just gotten away from that accident, seems to get away okay after locking up the brakes, and then Seth Cole involved in that as well. I think that the POV we want to look at here is Seth Cole running in the 18th position. Let's take a look at what he's got. A lot of times in that situation, more chaos in your mirror than in your eyes, but we do have those cars leaving pit lane and now remaining in front, Jolene Sims. But how about Daniel Rodriguez climbing his way to second place?
Yeah, D-Dog, after that really terrible restart from the 83 Mercury, has gotten himself into second place. He's had a really clean run so far.
Cool down this restart
And he's looking good. I love to say it, he's looking good. I'm very happy for that number 65 Monster Energy Toyota.
Yeah, listen, he is he's doing well for himself. Obviously right now, you know, we look at the standings and we look at what Rodriguez has. He's 5th in points right now. He is a part of that 3-man battle between Sims, Gibson, and Rodriguez. And not to say that Joshua Clements or William Viola are that far behind. Joshua Clements is only 22 points behind the 3. William Viola is only about 50 points behind them in total. Oh, we've got a spinner in front of the leaders. It's Johnson, who had some trouble getting back up on the racetrack, on the apron. It was announced over the tower that there will be a caution cooldown. Again, for those not familiar, that means that after the green flag waves, that there will be several laps without any kind of caution, no matter what happens on the racetrack, unless obviously somebody flips or something, you know, incredible happens, or catastrophic happens.
Because they lost the lap under caution.
But what we were saying was that in this scenario, we'll go green for a predetermined amount of time. And then when that is called, we'll go back to normal conditions. But this is mostly to combat the kind of lawlessness we've seen in the last couple of laps. A lot of people not using their heads here in this part of the race.
Yeah, another thing to mention, the 27 of William Viola looks like he's coming down pit road, probably to repair the damage he got after that caution, because we missed, after they came off turn 2, after Viola missed that accident, he got into the 19 car of Jelani Howell and just spun down the back straightaway, got a little bit of damage on the left side.
Basically a flip.
We are 40 laps of 100 through here in Dover, Delaware. Again, I got to visit this track in the real world fantastically, and back in July, got to see Connor Zilish win the Xfinity race there for the, I don't know, the 250th time in a row. But race with rain shortened, and got to see a former viewer of Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, LeVar Scott, who graduated from Pennsgrove High School in Carneys Point in 2021, raced for Alpha Prime in that event, and finished 32nd. Sims the leader, and we are going to do one more lap, it looks like, under caution. Could have gone for that in-race interview, but wasn't sure from the tower when we were going green. But Zach and Thomas, this has been an interesting race so far with only one different leader other than the 06, and they threw it all away in one lap. Your thoughts so far?
Okay, we're going green this lap.
Well, I just really think that we still haven't seen all the chaos that this concrete canyon can bring to BPNR, especially with how dicey the restarts have gotten. I mean, we're seeing some new faces up here. The 69 of Gilvin's now in 4th place. slowing down a little bit, entering the back. But like I said, I don't think we've seen all this track has to offer in terms of chaos.
Sims enters turn 3.
Better go to caution cool down.
Again, they'll go to a caution cool down before we begin.
Hoping they've wrecked in the back.
We're waving.
Oh, you're kidding me.
The 73 and the 32 are around. I don't know if they're the ones that have started that, but and the 93 gets hit by the 17, gets shot down the track.
I mean, what are we doing here?
Maybe a little bit of tempers flaring.
I don't even think they're going to go under green. They're going to do another caution lap.
Yeah, we're going to do one more caution lap here. That was weird.
I don't know. That was
definitely something.
This was just a huge stack up there with the 06 slowing down in the back straightaway, as I'd mentioned.
That's like your horse That's like your horse crashing into the gate before the gun goes off. I mean, what are we doing here? Lap 42 of 100. Sims is your leader. Rodriguez in second. Bell in third for your top 3. And again, Rodriguez could definitely give Sims a run for their money. I mean, you know, Sims already has a win this year, but Dover is such an interesting track for the fact that it requires a lot of technical skill to be good and to be a contender. It's never easy to fit those numbers and fit that criteria. And Sims and Rodriguez following along with them on the right side of your screen. Sims the leader going into 3. Rodriguez still holding on. Bell in third. Gilvin in fourth, the veteran. Negron of Albany, New York, finding his way up into the 5th position. And McCrory, who, like we said, was the perennial bronze medalist, all the way back down to 6th on the restart. And Dunlaprad, who was in second, playing second fiddle to Sims for the good majority of the day, now in 8th, battling with Clements.
Yeah, LaPrade trying to make up for that horrible restart that happened when the 60 spun his tires and gave us our first flip of the day.
First of 2.
First of 2, but he's starting to make a move now on the bottom of McCreary, going to slide up there, and he's going to see himself in the 6th position. But McCreary's going to try to have a go at him on the bottom as we have a battle for second as well, the 65 and the 29.
Indeed, you've got... Also, you got Tala Aziz in there for 10th, fighting behind Victor Delgado. Let's take a look at the hood cam of Dunlap. This is your 360 cam presented by Golden State Pet Center.
Still green because we are on caution cooldown still.
No caution because of the cooldown. RJ Bishop in trouble though.
That was a huge hit. He got hit by the 48 of Matt McIntyre.
Why is it always when we go to those creative camera angles that somebody's got to go screw up our party? We're trying to put on a good first impression for the folks at home not familiar with our esports coverage. Let's take one more look at what happened to RJ Bishop before we go back to our regular coverage. He just spun himself out, and then what happens here? So he spun himself out and then comes back down the track, and oh my goodness, it was Matt McIntyre, as you said, Thomas, that gave him a run for his money and got up to his rear so fast you thought it was a colonoscopy. Oh my goodness. Sims, the leader, nearing the halfway point. Childress coming off the pit lane. But how about this performance from Jolene Sims, though, with 1 win on the year, you know, obviously trying to fight for every point they can get with how they've operated this year, or excuse me, Sims not with 1 win on the year, but sandwiched between winners. Alex Gonzalez-Green with 2, Stephen Gibson with 1. The interesting thing, though, one winner that is outside of the playoffs, all the way down in 18th position, Nicholas Budimlik, who has a win this year, but hasn't even cracked the top 15 in points. Outside of that, the winners for this season, though, Aiden McCrow, who won for his first time in 2.5 calendar years at Daytona. He is in the wild card spot in 11th, and then again, Gonzalez-Green with 2, Gibson with 1. But Dunlaprad in 6th right now. He is still looking for his first regular season win of the year, which comes as a shock to some. But for LaPrade, it's about consistency, and he doesn't really care. I mean, I'm sure he does care a little bit on the inside that he hasn't won, but right now he's got a 28-point lead that will be buffered a little bit with Alex Gonzalez-Green not racing tonight, taking a provisional.
Yeah, I bet it hurts a little bit, but the saying goes is consistency kills, especially in a system like this, where it's the chase format, where it's about 10 drivers and 2 wildcard drivers, so the drivers with the most wins outside the top 10 points, which, thinking about it, it doesn't really matter that much to get a win unless you're outside of the top 10 points.
Exactly. I mean, you know, we talk about the last race of the last season before NASCAR implemented the chase in 2004 was Matt Kenseth. Had a 2003 championship year that he basically ran around 8th place all year. Didn't win a whole lot of races and won the championship on consistency alone. Now with this, you do still have to fight when it matters. But right now with LaPrade, he doesn't have to have a win to be consistent. He doesn't have to have a win to be in the lead right now. And neither does Alex Gonzalez-Green, but he has 2 of them under his belt, and I'm sure that momentum for Gonzalez will be a little bit different going into the all-out ball and all-out assault that will be Ricky Raceway next Tuesday.
Yeah, especially since there are 5 races in the Season 7 BPNR chase for the Cup. You really don't have to see a driver go out there and just dominate, like go win all 5 races. You can see someone like Dan LaPrade just go out there, finish about 3rd every week, and possibly come home with the championship. And runs like this will definitely aid towards that killing consistency.
Well, I'll tell you, you were talking about William Viola. He's running 15th right now. Doesn't have any wins. Has 1 stage win, which we did mark that. Remember, there is a halfway break. Not a break, but with the halfway top 5 get points. That would be Sims, Bell, Gilvin, Rodriguez, and LaPrade, although with a little bit of shuffling. LaPrade has worked his way up to 5th, Rodriguez down to 4th, and again, Rodriguez, who was in P2 for a good bit after that last restart, now finding himself in a bit of a precarious spot with Gilvin to his inside and LaPrade on his tail, working hard to get around.
Yeah, Gilvin has honestly been having a pretty good run so far. He wasn't really talked about during the early part of the race, but he's shown up here late, especially with that 2-tire strategy call that he had earlier on in the race, but now he's up here battling for a top 5 side by side with the points leader. That's got to be a good look.
We'll take a look at that helicopter cam again with Gilvin and the 77 of Dylan Negron. You know, this is where the experience comes in for Robbie Gilvin. Again, the veteran out of Kentucky. He's a little bit older than the rest of these guys in this field, and he knows this game. He knows this track, and he knows this layout, you know, almost like the back of his hand. And that's what makes him so successful. And you could argue the same thing with a lot of different veterans in NR. And there's a lot of different drivers that have earned those flowers and have earned the credit and the respect of their peers. And Robbie Gilvin's one of them. You know, his consistency can sometimes be a little bit iffy, but he definitely has the eye or the ire of some folks around him in the garage. He gets bumped down to 7th here, kind of lost that battle with Dylan Negron, but there's still 41 laps in the race and still plenty of time for his condition to either improve or even worsen, depending on what happens for the rest of the race.
Yeah, he may have pushed his tires there trying to get past the 77 and the 74. That's probably why he fell back. But all in all, it's pretty calm up here at the front. I mean, the only cars that we've really got racing are the 83 and the 69. Now, if we slip towards the back a little bit, the battle I was just watching about 2 laps ago just ended, apparently. They all got spread out. But the 27 and the 49 going at it there a little bit. Viola's been caught in a bunch of wrecks today. Thankfully, though, he's starting to rebound a little bit. As you said, he got that 1 stage win. But he's going to need a little more help than that to get through the chase battle.
Yeah, I mean, I think it matters more that Viola's right now in the green. He's running 7th in points, and there's some guys in front of him that aren't even close to that, with Seth Cole and Alex Mullen, who has DNQ'd all but 1 race for the local Alex Mullen, hailing from Salem County, New Jersey, just about an hour from Dover Motor Speedway, kind of a hometown track for not only him, but myself, being a Camden County, New Jersey resident. But, you know, listen, Mullen qualified 21st with as high as 6th at one point during this race, and now finds himself in 14th, right around in a little bit of a happy medium. Nobody in front of him, nobody behind him, nobody for him to cause trouble with, and nobody for nobody to cause trouble with him as well as he gets into 14th. We've got a three-way right here, three-way battle. Jelani, Howell, Seth Cole, and William Viola, three wide.
Oh,
Almost contact there. That was very close to the 49 of Seth Cole. Let's go on board. Whoa.
Oh! He's upside down!
And Mullen gets
there's
involved.
the eliminate. Oh my goodness. And it doesn't look like they've called for caution. Maybe they have. They might be on race back right now. We'll have to see when they come to the line.
Let's take a look.
The
There's-
caution's out.
Yeah, okay, the caution's
there
out.
is.
The caution is out.
Would have been surprised if you didn't call the caution there. Slap 66. That's caution number 5 on the day. As just as we were following that battle in the mid-pack, the water boiled over the pot, and we see a 3-car wreck between Howell, Seth Cole, and William Viola, as William Viola just unable to catch any brakes tonight as he picks up another incident, another beater and a banger on that car, on that 27. As right around the 2/3 mark, we're under caution again.
Yeah, I was gonna mention right before that wreck happened that the 1949 and 27 were involved in a particular incident a little bit earlier in the race, around the lap 25 mark or so, when the 49 dumped the 19 and the 27 also got involved in that. And it seems to be those three have colluded once again to bring out another caution here at Dover.
Well, let's take a look again at this incident that happened here. My game seemed to freeze a little bit, but we've got another helicopter look. Howell, we were on board with the 49 when this happened, made contact with 27, and then you see it just freezes right there. And then that's where we come back. Viola goes up and over, and then look at Alex Mullen hits him right there, right around the C post on the backside. Again, more contact there, and those were the three cars involved. And it seemed like the 19 came away from that one pretty unscathed. And then William Viola again coming up with that one with another unfortunate wreck added to his resume. We've got more cars coming down pit lane.
Man, this will be a very interesting stop. We're going to have to see if anyone decides to go with the two-tire strategy again, although I don't think it's going to work quite as bad as it did with the 60 car. But we'll just have to see. The 29 just point back in second place. I was wondering where they went.
I mean, honestly, can we really chalk Landon Laudenbach's decision to go with two tires there all the way up to that? I don't know if that even had anything to do with his tire strategy. He spun the tires a little bit, but I think that was some extracurricular factors. You were saying his controller might have disconnected. That might not have had anything to do with the fact that he took two. I'm not exactly sure, but again, taking a look at the 06 car, Jolene Sims getting ready to come off the pit lane. Got that overhead view here. Here's Rodriguez. Sims will beat him. LaPrade third, Negron, and then McCrory in fifth, Clements sixth, Gilvin seventh. Then here's the rest of the field coming off the pit lane. And Bell still on pit lane with a long delay.
I just watched the 19 take about 30 seconds to get in their box there. That was some of the funniest pit road shenanigans I think I've ever seen. I do believe, now that I think about it, I do believe the 27 went and parked in his spot after that. And the 19 had to go and push him out of the spot.
He had to push him out of his own parking spot? Or out of his own pit spot?
Yeah.
Now we got to look at this.
That's exactly what happened. I thought the 19 just missed his pit
Did he push him out of his own stall? Let's take a look here.
The 19 had to push the.
Oh, the 27 was in Jelani's box. Okay.
Yeah.
So here comes Howell.
Kirsten's gonna get back here third in line.
We're rewinding the tape now, and there is Viola. I don't know if he first of all, how did he get in the 19's box? That's what I want to know. How did he get in that box? Because where's the 27's box? Because he got in that.
The 27's box is right before the start-finish line, like checkerboard pattern there on pit road. I believe the 27 did that intentionally, showing some displeasure to the 19 after he was sent upside down off of 4.
You know what? That was a Kurt Busch 2008 or whatever it was, where he parked right next to his pit stall here, and then again when the rest of the field comes down, here comes the rest of the field here, and then here comes Howell.
Okay. Leaders stay high, lap
And then,
first,
yeah,
you can
Viola's
wait
just
to
sitting right in
get
his
your
pit
lap
box,
back.
and he pulls up beside him saying, hey, what the heck are you doing in my house? And I'm sure his pit crew's yelling at him, and then he gets up beside him. And again, with these cars, I mean, they're a little bit on the lighter side, but with enough force, he was just able to, let's see here, he's backed up against the wall. He's literally trying to push. That's exactly what he did. He pushed the 27, he backs up, and he keeps trying to force him out of his pit box, and then he eventually did, and he was close to the left side, but his tires were able to be completed on all fours. And, yeah, I mean, Thomas, the fact that you were laughing at that,
we're going green this lap.
I understand entirely why you were amused by that, because that was hilarious.
Yeah, I get the 27's frustration. I mean, those two have both been involved in an accident twice today, so you would imagine that a little bit of frustration would be boiling over after such a long race and all the misfortunes happening to the 27 and the 19. But that's just comical to do that.
Well, we'll have 30 laps to go at green, 22 cars on the lead lap, 24 in the race. As here from Dover Motor Speedway, fans standing for what could be the final run of the night, but knowing how these cars have acted and how these drivers have acted, it's unlikely that this is the last restart that we will see. Here from Dover Motor Speedway in the Dover Downs 100, we're back green. Another drone shot presented by Gray Fox Sports. That time we have a lot of, there's no, okay, sorry, our cameras froze for a second there. Had a technical glitch.
You're all good now. You're back.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened. Everybody disappeared off the screen. As Rodriguez still in second, but Sims with about 3 car lengths between herself and the 65. LaPrade on the high side, still having the labor around Dylan Negron, and to hang on to that 4th position for LaPrade. Again, the points leader up by 28 points on the 63 of Alexander Gonzalez Green, not in attendance tonight, taking a provisional. Couldn't make the travels from wherever they were last week to Dover, Delaware. Couldn't make a last-minute flight to Wilmington Airport. Just about 45 minutes up the road.
I don't know if we're getting this right now, but the 17 has just crashed off of turn 2.
Oh yeah, 17
That's
car
another
in 17.
unfortunate day for the 17.
Riley Trowick, yeah, the North. Looks like hits the wall and then just makes a right corrects right in front of Jelani Howell. We stay green.
Man, Jelani Howell is the conductor of chaos back there in the back half of the field.
Doesn't even have to touch anybody to make him crash.
Yeah.
It's witchcraft. Let's go on board with the Dodge Charger 29 of Kirsten Bell. 3/4 of the way through from Dover Motor Speedway. Dan Wilkins joined in the booth by Zachariah Armstrong and Thomas Troxel. Troxel making his DWB debut, broadcast number 572. As these cars single file out. Don't forget we have a football triple header this upcoming weekend. Thursday, September 4th, we travel down to Tom Brown Field for a top 20 powerhouse matchup in South Jersey between the Pennsauken Indians and the Washington Township Minutemen. Kickoff at 6 p.m. And then Friday we go down the shore over to Ocean County for the Barnegat Bengals and the Manchester Township Hawks on Friday, October 5th. 6 p.m. We'll be starting our pregame show at 5:30 because of a pregame ceremony honoring Mike Lister, the 38-year athletic director of the Township, retiring after Friday. And then Saturday we've got North versus South parochial football. It's Morris Catholic and the Crusaders versus the Gloucester Catholic Rams. 11 a.m. kickoff from J.A. Lynch Field in Gloucester City. Getting ready to get to 20 to go. Cars filing out single file, and I'm sure if you're any one of these cars that's decently safe in the playoffs, I'm sure it's annoying that you can't pass, but I'm sure it's not all that frustrating that your car right now is mostly in a safe position along the green flag run.
You know, especially with the 65 here, running, what, 3rd, 4th, 5th in points, somewhere around there. The points are going to change after this.
Points are definitely going to shift after
Yeah,
tonight.
they're going to shift after this, especially with the dominance of the 06. Probably going to jump to 2nd in points. But the 65 been sticking with the 06 so far, kind of gaining on them a little bit. The 29 is blinked out. They're probably going to lose a lap. They're back right there. But
I don't know
the
if they're down to
65's keeping
11th.
with them.
I don't know if they crossed. No, they definitely lost a lap because they did not cross before, or they did not reappear before they crossed the start-finish line.
Yeah, but they will be getting that lap back.
It'll
no
definitely be a technical thing that they'll fix here there for the 29 Dodge of Bell. Still getting up behind the 65 though. I still think the 29 can make a move, but it would have to be a move out of desperation instead of a move out of necessity. Because I mean, 29 got into the wall there. Gonna lose some time and might lose some skin on the right side of that car. With LaPrade shockingly not making the move to counter that.
LaPrade's really got no reason to try to go throw balls to the wall, go all out here on the 29, sitting pretty in 1st place in points, sitting 4th right now, just having a really good points day. Consistency kills, like I've been saying the whole day. And he's just, that 4th place finish is just going to make his points lead grow even bigger.
Again, let's take a look at those point standings going into race 6 of 17 and then race 6 of 12 of the regular season. There's what you got looking for you right now. Gonzalez Green in 2nd place. And then one of the big talking points of the day was that 3-way separation with Jolene Sims, Stephen Gibson, and Daniel Rodriguez. Rodriguez in 2nd, Sims in 1st. If anything, this is going to leave the 51 of Stephen Gibson out to dry because Gibson is not in this race. And you know, Thomas or Zachariah, you'd have to check if that was if they took a provisional, but this could very well become a very fierce 2-way battle that you're seeing not only for 3rd in points, but also for 1st in the race lead right now.
Let's go take a look real quick as we see the 83 of Anthony McCrory
on the inside of the
Brad. Well, Brad lost a spot to the 77 of Negrone.
Oh, Carnival.
93 got in the wall really hard there.
He's got a flat. That's Bowen Fisher. I think he's got a right front flat or something.
No, I think he just nailed the wall pretty hard there.
It looked like his car was skewing down a little bit, but he's staying on straight and narrow.
Oh, into turn 1.
Alex Mullen.
That was close.
Still running that top side. Again, he's looking for his 2nd. Well, first of all, this is his 2nd start of the year. Yeah, he is super loose. Loose as a goose. Battling with the 19 of Howell. Under 15 to go.
To answer your question about Stephen Gibson, he did indeed take a provisional for this race.
There you go. Let's go back through the field with 15 to go. Jolene Sims in 1st, Daniel Rodriguez in 2nd, Kirsten Bell in 3rd, Dylan Negrone in 4th, and Dunn LaPrade rounding out the top 5. After that, Anthony McCrory, Robbie Gilvin, Joshua Clements, the ultimate tire saver. He's right now putting up a good day for himself in 8th. Victor Delgado, the 3rd and 9th. Haven't talked about him too much today. And then Tala Aziz of Seattle, Washington in the 10th position, rounding out the top 10. There is a pretty decent barrier going back to the 11th position. Seth Cole in 11th. Roman Gonzalez in 12th was involved in an accident earlier, along with Alexander Hunt in 13th. And Daniel Rivera of the Morgan & Morgan car, who has not insured himself very well, we'll say that much. He's in 14th and has been caught up in a couple accidents. William Viola, who flipped to cause the last caution, he's in 15th. Jelani Howell in 16th. Alex Mullen, the New Jersey native, in 17th. Bowen Fisher, 18th. Matt McIntyre in 19th. Elaine Johnson in 20th. And then Carl Childress in 22nd. Landon Lyle is in 21st. Lyle's the last car in the lead lap. Childress a lap down. And then RJ Bishop in 23rd, the last running car on the track. 2 laps down. 10 to go for Delaware.
The lead battle really hasn't gotten very competitive yet, but the 77 and the 83 and the 69 are all looking to try to get up there to show that they have some work here in BPNR, trying to get up to that lead or at least 2nd place, because the 65 is just sitting pretty right now, as well as the 06, who has dominated the entire race, has done all but about 3 laps, I believe.
Yeah, Landon Laudenbach has been the only other leader tonight. Rodriguez, of course, would like that win. It's going to come down to tires. You've got about 8 laps to go. You're going to be coming up on RJ Bishop in a little bit. He's right now in turn 2, and he is running Actually, he might not catch them. They're about a second faster than the 42, and obviously running far enough apart where there's no reason to worry about draft. But with the 06 being a quarter second in front of the 65 right now, the question is going to come down to tires. How much do you have? This is the longest green flag run of the day, and it will be the longest green flag run of the day. And right now, the question is for Jolene Sims.
Jeez. Oh, sorry about that. I saw the 27 and the 19 get into each other right on the front straightaway. I thought it was going to be involved in a big accident there, but
well, these two
they're going to keep it okay. Oh, and Mullen is spun off of turn 2.
Alex Mullen off of 2.
He's around.
Where's the leaders?
He's in a really bad spot.
Watch out for
Where these guys got to go? This is the concrete canyon. He's going to have to back it up. He wasn't able to make that turn cleanly. Here comes the leaders.
Just stay down there.
Just stay down. Stay down. He'll be okay, and they'll go back to it. Wow, that was a very close call.
Oh, and now he's caught back up with all the people that he was racing earlier.
Oh no, and he's going to be a lap down to boot. Still, despite that drama, Sims is still in first, although Kirsten Bell has gotten a little bit close to Rodriguez. 5 laps to go. I just wonder what the necessity is going to be for a move here. Will Bell try to get the 65 out of the way for P2, or will the 65 try to make a quick run up on the 06? Right now, the 06 and the 65 about a quarter second apart. What is hurting the 65? They are running nearly identical lap times. Sims 22.811, Rodriguez 22.807. It is nearly identical. In fact, out of the top 3, faster than all of them is Kirsten Bell, and then Negron slower in 4th, and LaPrade, the slowest of the bunch, in 5th. But it'll be a good day for Jolene Sims nonetheless. Has been dominant. It's been a struggle to pass. We thought tires would be more of a strategy than they ended up being, but because of the Wreckfest that kind of bookended this race in the middle, it was interesting to see that lead kind of disappear and that strategy go out the window. 2 laps to go. Here from Dover. 9:47 back home. Race has been running for about an hour, and Jolene Sims looking for their first win of the year in a tight points battle with her fierce competitor right behind in the 65. White flag, Jolene Sims. 1 lap to go. Bell still fighting hard for 3rd place. Sims will have it all alone. Jolene, please don't go and hurt the competition, because that's what the 06 just did. Winner at Dover, Jolene Sims for her first of the year with wreckers behind.
Oh, that was about the entire back half of the top 10.
Made contact off of 4 right at the end.
Really only one position change between 83 and 77.
Yeah, felt like something was going to happen, but Negron will finish 5th. Let's take one more look at that incident as minor damage, but the question is, where will these guys finish position-wise? Negron came up a little bit strong there. McCrory wanted one last spot, took the wall with him, knocked it down, and McCrory is going to get that position. He will successfully wreck for the pass as he took out about 3 cars in pursuit of 1 position. He finishes 4th. Actually, yeah, they do give it to him. They'll have Negron 5th, LaPrade 6th, and then Joshua Clements in 7th, and almost took out Robbie Gilvin at the end there. I imagine that the 77 isn't going to be very happy with Anthony McCrory, because he basically took out 3 cars behind him for the sake of 1 race car.
I mean,
Jolene Sims burning it down.
And also, we missed a little bit of an incident between the 15 and the 93 there, and they're in turn 3. The 93 drove through the 15 on the last lap. Didn't get the position, but definitely gave him all the damage that the 15 was avoiding for most of the day.
Well, I can't tell where the 06 is and all of that smoke. There they are on the front stretch. A little bit hard to tell, but Jolene Sims, your winner. First win of the year.
absolute domination right there.
That's definitely one of the most deserved wins of the year for the 06.
It's a good statement. Put yourself out there. Burning it down in Delaware. Again, hard to see that 06 with the billow of smoke they are creating on the front stretch in front of 46,000 here in Dover. Once they get out of that Ford Mustang, we'll get to talk to the 06, the winner of tonight's race. Man, those tires are lasting a long time, and it finally, I think, gave out. Oh my goodness, still going. Passionate performance from Jolene Sims. I think they're trying to get a little bit more out of those tires, out of that engine. Oh my goodness, finally parked it on the front stretch, and still going. This might be the record for the longest burnout ever.
I think we've gotten the message now.
Yeah, I think the fans who are getting secondhand smoke inhalation are also getting the message. Hey, let's try to grab Jolene Sims really quickly. Let's talk to the 06 if we are able to. Can't find them in our, unless they already left.
I think it's Julie.
There we go. Okay. All right, let's drag them in. If my mouse pad will work. We have to break the fourth wall occasionally here, ladies and gentlemen.
User was moved to your channel.
Jolene Sims, this is Dan Wilkins with Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. Congratulations on your win. You got a minute to talk to us?
Absolutely, I do.
That was a dominant win. I mean, you know, listen, just 3 laps were led by somebody not named you, and that was Landon Laudenbach. Obviously, just some great strategy there. It's never easy to win from the pole, but in a track like this where passing is at a premium, you were lucky to find that you didn't find any challenges for you. First of all, how'd you feel out there today?
I'm very happy with that. I think it's been like maybe like a year or just a very long time since I've like just straight up had a race where I felt so clean and very I don't know, it felt really good. I understood the track pretty early on. Yeah, and honestly, like I'm really proud of myself for this one, but it was pretty like really hard to pass. Although I like genuinely didn't really have anybody to pass all day, because when Laudenbach was in the lead, he immediately spun the tires on the restart. But just congratulations to everyone else though, and I hope we get to have some more battles soon, but I'm so happy to win.
And listen, this was not only a huge day for you individually, but it was also a huge day for you in the points. Stephen Gibson and Daniel Rodriguez, who you beat by 1 position, were all separated by 1 point. Obviously, the leaders right now, Dunn LaPrade and Alexander Gonzalez, but you were right in the wings, and you're more worried about that 4th and 5th place battle, which you're going to be able to gain with Gibson not fielding a car tonight. He had to settle for provisional. So it's going to be a 2-way battle between you and Rodriguez for that 3rd spot. And as we're right now entering the second half of the regular season, what does that mean to you as you were going into the second half of the race? You see the 65 in your mirror. Does that thought cross your mind that you really had to go at all costs to avoid him passing for the sake of points?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The whole thing I was thinking this race, like, I don't know if it's the same for everyone behind me, but I definitely felt like it was conservation for me. I was really stressed up front, to be honest, because I really felt like I needed to save or keep my tire temps down, and I could tell whenever the 65 was getting close to me. So it's like balancing picking up the pace and just trying not to get in a predicament where I might get passed. But I certainly know, like, well, okay, so for the point system, I certainly know that, like, I know the people I'm racing around, and I know I gotta just keep doing my best at all costs, especially for halfway. I know it's important. If we had a yellow there, I would have stayed out to get those points. But luckily that didn't happen. I could keep staying up front. And I know I may be battling for just 3rd right now, but not to put myself up, but I really want to get that regular season championship somehow.
Listen, I think it's within reach. I mean, Alexander Gonzalez Green and Stephen Gibson, the driver in front of you and the driver behind you, both took provisionals tonight, so that's going to be a hit to their points. And who knows what's going to happen at Riki Raceway? I think you're going to have an increased attendance because of the fact that it's a super speedway race. But that actually leads me into my next question because, listen, next week is going to be Riki Raceway, a very tight super speedway in Toronto. And it is going to be an all-out assault, just like a regular Daytona or Talladega race. All the cards are out the window. All of your allegiances are out the window on that last lap or even before then. But the question is going to be, what is your approach going into that race now that you have had such a good, almost flawless day at Dover?
I'm gonna go as hard as I can, just like I do every race. I've had some super speedway races where I'd rather stay in the back, but um, I don't have any reason to be conservative. Well, except like I think they have damage on for super speedway, so that's to keep in mind. But all of the wrecks and stuff at super speedways tends to happen like after the second row. So I'm gonna try and keep myself up front all day. It's a very tight track. You mentioned that, so just gotta keep it clean and make some moves. I guess so, but I'll just try and have some fun.
Well, Jolene, thank you very much. Thank you for joining us, and we are going to get a chance to talk to Daniel Rodriguez and Kirsten Bell in just a moment. But congratulations on your win, and best of luck to you next week in Toronto.
Thank you, and thank you for broadcasting, everyone up here. Great race. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jolene.
User disconnected from your
All right, we are going to try to get two more. Again, Daniel Rodriguez and Kirsten Bell. Let's try to get them up the, I guess you could say, fictional elevator. And,
User was moved to your channel.
What do we get here? Okay, I believe we got it. Daniel Rodriguez, this is Dan Wilkins, Zach Armstrong, and Thomas Troxel up in the Dan Wilkins Broadcasting booth. Do you have a copy?
I read you loud and clear.
Perfect. This was a good day for you. Obviously, first place would have been a lot better than second, but at a track where passing is a premium, it's never easy to pull that off. And you've only led one lap this season across your 4 starts. You come into this race 5th in a 3-way battle with Gibson and Sims, 1 point apart. Honestly, I would say that finishing second to the person that you are directly battling with for the points or for the 3rd place points position isn't that bad. But I'll defer to you. How'd you feel out there today?
For my car, I felt great. I was able to make moves. Oh, I don't know if y'all saw that one restart where Dunn and I don't know who the other car was, but they both wheel spun and I passed.
There was a decent amount of wheel spin, yeah.
Yeah, I passed 3 cars in one fell swoop, and I was there 1 spot short of first for the lead. And also, speaking of points, I got a good stage points. I finished 3rd. I would have finished second, but Kirsten passed me. But 3rd place in the stage points is also an added bonus, so I'll take it. Honestly, it went well. It's just that obviously the track and setup and all of that gibberish and stuff, not great.
That's kind of it. I mean, we'll just kind of rip the Band-Aid off there. That was kind of the sentiment from the garage. Passing, as we said in the open, was a premium. Dover is always a passing. Dover is always a track where it's difficult to pass, mostly because of the concrete surface. But at the same time, though, you have to have that kind of balance when you're making this car to find a way for you to be able to run multi-groove. It didn't matter whether you ran high, it didn't matter whether you ran low. It was just difficult for people to get ahead, which is why Jolene Sims led every lap except for 3, and the laps that she didn't lead were because Lawden Ladenbach ended up taking 2 tires on that first pit stop, jumped from 9th to 1st, and then immediately spun his tires, slammed into the inside wall, and then took out about 20 bajillion cars with him. So it was not an easy pill to swallow. But for you, you had about a 34 lap green flag run to the end. We were talking about on the broadcast how this could have been the last run, and it ended up being that way. How frustrating was it for you that you weren't able to even really get within a quarter second of Sims for that entirety of the last 30 laps that we went green?
Well, it's absolutely frustrating. I was trying everything, just trying to take the bottom, take the middle, of course, and then maybe a bit of the high lane, and just could not gain maybe just a tiny bit, but nothing, just absolutely nothing. And that was just so frustrating. I was talking with Kirsten for a bit, and same sentiment, probably everyone else. There was just nothing you could do. You were just stuck there. And again, back with that restart, it was, like you said, a premium. It felt so good taking advantage of those 3 cars wheel spinning and just taking those 3 spots and getting second. I'm like, oh my god, I just can't explain really, with words how frustrating and aggravating just how just to watch nothing happen when you're trying your very best to try and get that one spot and you just can't do anything with it.
Well, I'll tell you this day wasn't all negative for you. Obviously, still a second place finish is still, it's not nothing. And again, you would have liked to see that win get in your pocket. Again, still separated by 1 point to Jolene Sims, and you're going to take the lead away from Stephen Gibson with your second place finish and your stage points. So going into Riki next week, that super speedway in Toronto is always a wild card because it's a super speedway. Anything can happen. Your allegiances are out the window. Obviously, your teammate Nicholas Badimlik already has a win, and he's 18th in points. You're in 5th right now, and you only have 1 lap led. Now is a chance that the underdogs can shine, but at the same time for those contenders to really make their stand known. What's your game plan, and how do you feel going into Riki next week?
Well, knowing how things went last year with Josh Clemens, just absolutely flying and meeting heaven in the last race, the last time we had it. I think the game plan here is just to stay calm and survive. Just maybe at times go mid-pack and give it a go, but just trying to survive these the opening laps, and then once the cloud settles, just start going for it.
Well, Daniel, thank you very much. Congratulations. Even though this finish wasn't exactly what you wanted, still a lot of positives to go back in the hall or about this weekend.
Absolutely. Thank y'all so much.
All right, appreciate it. We're going to flip over now to our, I guess you could say, our last post-race interview of the day. If we can get them up the elevator as well, it is going to be Kirsten Bell.
What? Who the fuck are you? Who are you people?
Welcome
hi.
to the booth.
Welcome to.
I'm in the booth.
We'll have to.
Yeah,
we'll have
you've
to.
been hijacked.
We'll have to censor that for a second. But
my bad. I didn't know.
There's children watching.
I don't care.
Kirsten Bell, P3 at Dover. Listen, we opened with the same question to Jolene and to Daniel Rodriguez with the interviews of the podium. Passing was at a premium today, and it was not easy to pass at any level. You somehow found your way to do some of that, though, especially when it mattered most. Found yourself with a bronze medal today. How'd you feel out there for the 29?
Honestly, I felt horrible. This track is terrible. This league is awful. Can we boycott this league? It's just terrible. Like, we're picking tracks from other leagues. We can't do anything. You make one wrong move and you're losing 40,000 goddamn positions. I would like to pass cars, not sit behind Daniel Rodriguez for 70 laps. Oh my god.
I think I share that sentiment, I think we should boycott the league. I think we should just get rid of the people that run this league.
We should just starve Landon Lyle.
I honestly think that we should run score again. We should bring that back. But with the broadcast already going off the rails a little bit. Listen, this was a big day for the first 2 cars in line. Jolene Sims and Daniel Rodriguez. They were both separated by 1 point going into this race, and with Stephen Gibson filing a provisional, didn't make it any easier.
File restraining order.
What my point is that it's going to be a very interesting points battle for those two. But for yourself, right now you find yourself the 29 in the 29th position. This is only your 4th start of the year. You're below the cut line. This is a big day for you points-wise, considering that the players in front of you either didn't show up or didn't have good days. Alexander Hunt, William Gregory, Parker Ness, and Gavin Freed.
Who?
Freed, Ness, and Gregory all didn't show up or DNQ'd. Kukalone, DNQ'd. Harrison G-Men, he DNQ'd, and then Mahendra had a bad day, Trowick had a bad day. My point is, your adversaries and maybe your enemies in front of you didn't have good days, and from the 29th spot in points, you finished 3rd. How does that feel to you?
It makes me realize that I'm employed and work, so I don't spend all my days on NR 2003. But it's nice to finally have a good run. I got robbed at Daytona by this person that's right above me in the TeamSpeak channel.
Oh, we don't talk about that.
We're talking about it. I got robbed by Tyrant Lyle and Pit Strategy at Bristol. Auto Club, I got lagged out because Landon Lyle was terrible. And, I mean, It was just nice to have a good race for once in my life. For being the reigning champion, it's just rough, like to have such a down start to the season. But
Yeah,
like,
you want to have that rebound when you come back. It's never easy to have that championship ring and then say, well, what did I do that for? Because I'm not going to get another one. I'm not going to get this second one this year. I have to wait. Right now, again, listen, we're about halfway into the regular season. Got Riki Raceway next week over in Toronto. It's going to be an interesting race. We talked to Sims and Rodriguez about it, and it's basically just going to be an all-out assault. We're going to see maybe somebody new win. I mean, I don't know. We're going to see underdogs where they're not supposed to be or where they're not usually, and we're going to see a little bit of everything over at Riki. What's your game plan going in the next week?
wreck everyone and leave.
That's
If it works, it works.
That's a pretty good.
I think
strategy.
that's a fantastic note for this broadcast to fall on. Kirsten, thank you very much. Have a good night, and we hope to see you next week.
Thank you for dealing with me.
Well, I'm sure we'll be doing it again. Okay.
User was moved out of your
That first of all, I'm gonna have to go back into the YouTube settings after that one. But listen, I mean, this was a good day for Jolene Sims and Daniel Rodriguez, all trying to make up some ground on the points, and they were able to do it. Jolene Sims first, Daniel Rodriguez second. Just a fantastic points day for both of them, but not a lot of passing, and the drivers in the garage expressing their frustrations with that.
Yeah, that was pretty much just face value.
Yeah, I mean they didn't let back, or they didn't hold back. They were pretty frustrated with the fact that you weren't able to pass. Obviously, there are good ways and good reasons to manage tire wear. If you want to have a race where your tires are falling off the bone and you've got to pit every 20 laps or so, that's one thing. But the tires weren't falling off quickly enough for the drivers to have to pit, because we had a 33 lap run at the end of the race and nobody had to come in for pits for tire wear or fuel related issues. It was simply, if you got caught with damage, that's where you had to pit. Those are extraordinary circumstances. In this situation, we didn't see any green flag pits. We didn't see a lot of strategy. It was just Jolene Sims had the pole and won the draw for the day. Luck of the draw for the day. If Daniel Rodriguez had gotten a little bit better qualifying time, who knows? Maybe he would have been on the pole. Maybe he would have won this race as well. We saw 2 lead changes and 0 under green. I'm hoping that Riki Raceway will put on a little bit of a better show next week, but it's also a super speedway. If you don't have a good show, then there is a very serious problem. Final thoughts from Zach and Thomas before we head off the air for the evening.
I'm just glad we're going to Riki next week. I mean, I was looking back at the race. We didn't even the tires didn't even fall off a second. Like the tires stayed pretty gripped up for the entire run there. There wasn't really anything you could do, and I was, like I said when I joined earlier before the broadcast went up, that this track was honestly terrible. I'm glad it's over now. I'm glad it was not as bad as it was shaping up to be there in the practice session. Glad Jolene had a really dominant win, but in all fairness, probably shouldn't have been that dominant of a win. But you qualify there. You run a really good race anyways. It's like, congrats to them. But this track was not good. It did not bring us a very good show. And I'm just glad that they put Riki next week, because Riki is going to be a way better showing than this Dover could ever be.
Riki is going to be definitely a fantastic test and definitely good endurance for next week. And I think it's going to be a good rebound as well. There's going to be a lot of there's going to be a lot of passing. There's going to be a lot of wrecking. There's going to be a lot of tempers flaring. But when you're going that fast, you can never know, and it's going to be fun. But I think that this race definitely could have done more, could have lived up to higher expectations. Again, you're running a setup from a different league with different cars. It's not going to be the same. I'm not directly criticizing those guys, but I think that with what we saw was that the only passing that there was when somebody hit the wall or when somebody messed up, and I mean messed up severely. I'm not talking about a simple error. It was definitely a little bit more than that. So my main point is that it could have been better, could have been worse. There could have been no passing whatsoever. We could have been in a train all day for an hour and a half. But the way that it was, we saw some wrecking, we saw some flares, but at the end of the day, just not too much where it mattered most, which was at the front of the field. So that'll be all for us tonight on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting. You can tune in on Thursday, September 4th, for Thursday Night Football down in Gloucester County at Tom Brown Field between the Pennsauken Indians and the Washington Township Minutemen. But a decent race for Jolene Sims, not a great race for a handful of others in the back, and not a great race for the Sentiment in the garage, but they'll return to Riki Raceway next week with heads high, looking for some extra action. From our entire crew on Dan Wilkins Broadcasting, our social media coordinator Haley Mejia, our graphics crew Gavin Van Rel, Caleb Lane, and Carson Rosso, my producer in-house Chase Parson, my color commentators for the evening Zachariah Armstrong and Thomas Troxel, I'm Dan Wilkins. We'll see you on Thursday. And for our esports crowd, we will be back on Tuesday from the very same Riki Raceway in Toronto, Canada. Have a good one, folks.